but all the characters have such interesting, I think, I mean, like this discussion that we can have this.
Yeah.
But it reflects on all of us, you know, I think.
And I feel like that's like such a good part of Uoto's writing, where he will have characters and he will use these characters as a vehicle to present different ideas, different viewpoints, but he never explicitly says this is the right one. You know, he will say, okay, you have here's a bunch of different interesting characters, and you can make your own interpretation, and you can make you can find your own answer through one of these characters.
Yeah.
Because I would say the character that by far I thought had one of the biggest impacts, even though he had like some of the shorter screen time, Kaido.
Oh yeah, Kaido.
My God, what a fucking goated character. Unk shows up for like 5 scenes and steals the show, man.
I mean, if you make Kenjiro voice anything, bro.
So that Kenjiro's characters are just aura.
They literally, it's so unfair. One man gets to have all that aura.
I know.
Like in a voice. It's chills, dude. Chills.
And it's like a totally different character from the other character he voices in Orb. Which is Noak. 2 totally different characters, but damn, steals the show in both different series as well.
Because Kaido is introduced really late. And he feels like his whole point is kind of just breaking these characters and making them all realize almost like, he's like, hey, I'm old. I know why I'm here, Mitch. I'm in it for the love of the game. This is where I want to fucking be.
Totally.
But I think like there's a lot of lines in these that are like really powerful, but I feel like the line when I first watched this by myself, the line that hit me like the hardest was Kaido's speech to Togashi.
Oh yeah,
where he was like, "Look, I've been second best my entire life. You know, I'm fucking tired of being told I was born in the wrong generation. You know, everyone doesn't even like. I'm not even a blip on anyone's radar." But his speech about breaking out of the reality that he sees for himself by never stopping to believe in himself. You know, he has one job, and that is to believe in himself. So even if no one else does, he still thinks he's going to craft his own reality.
And the way Uoto phrases it too is so good, because he phrases it like Kaido's like, I'm running from reality.
Yeah.
Which is like such a cool like analogy to present in a character like this, because it's like it links that analogy to what he's actually doing physically, which is like he's like, I'm running for the love of the game. I'm running so that I could just be like, I don't give a fuck what anyone says about me or what they call me. I'm doing this because I believe in myself and I know I can be the best.
In human life, like introspection is one of the hardest things to consistently do to yourself. To be able to actually sit down and come to terms with what is happening emotionally for yourself, what is happening in your life, and to be able to genuinely, and I like, not like, I know there's some problems in my life, like to genuinely be uncomfortable with those feelings. Because for Kaido, right, like he's mentioned this, he's number 2, sure, on the track, cool. But what that entails is that you're on the track for 10 seconds. The rest of your time, you have to sit with what happened on those tracks for 10 seconds. And in between all those races and all those competitions. And to be able to push that, hey, I am introspective. I have been able to see that I'm realistic here. I know what I'm dealing with. You need to do it too. It was such a cool moment. And then he fucking gets a win in the semi heats. Which was so sick because he locks in. He goes, alternate reality.
That moment where he just like locks in, he goes, I will break this reality. And he does it. I remember like first time watching it, I was like, fuck, yes.
Into the Kenjiro's voice.
Yes.
It's like,
oh my God. Unk has still got it, man. I don't know how old he's meant to be, but I feel like he's way older.
This Unk fast as fuck.
He looks way older than he's actually like canonically meant to be in this
I mean, he looks how every Final Fantasy says you look when you're like 30. He looks like decrepit in Final Fantasy terms. I also really love Zitzu.
Zitzu didn't get too many scenes either.
No, but the scene where he goes into, there's a scene in this movie which maybe is all time for me. He goes into school to give a speech to all the aspiring athletes in Kyushu with Komiya, and he's kind of weird because he's just kind of like very weirdly upfront and
emotionless.
Yeah.
kind of like
Blunt?
nihilistic and blunt
Yeah.
to
No,
these kids.
I feel like this was Uoto reading a book on nihilism, and he was just going to be like, I want to make a character
That is nihilist,
solely around that.
So, the school leader is like, I forgot what he even asks. It doesn't really matter that much compared to what he asks something. And
He asked,
gets
why'd
a
you run?
Right. And then Komiya goes, hey, I have like really bad anxiety. How do you deal with it as a runner? How do you deal with anxiety? And then he goes, what did he say? He goes something along the lines of like,
Deal with it.
no, run from anxiety or something.
Yeah.
You should outrun your anxiety.
Yeah, he's like, don't let anxiety get in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put it to the side. But I will say, I think for me, like one of the most memorable lines in the movie is from Zitzu, like near the end, where I forgot who he was talking to, but he says this line, which I thought was really good, where he was like, if you're, being in first is no different to being in last if there is no one around you.
Oh, I like that line.
I love
Yeah.
that line so much because it's like, because, his entire life has just been, he's always been at the top of the game. He's always been first, almost to the point where he's talking to Komiya. Yeah, he was like, his entire upbringing, he was always like the national champion, always at number one. Even, when you look at his character, it's almost like he wasn't even trying to like be that. It's just like God-given talent. And then when he finally confronts Komiya about like, being number one all the time isn't the point. And, maybe being number one all the time isn't the reason why you should be running all the time. And it's this kind of moment where even Zitzu realizes that the way, or I guess the mentality that he has towards running is potentially a little bit flawed.
Yeah.
Especially after, and this is before he loses in like a really, really bad way at the end that, makes him be like, actually, I quit. This game sucks. I thought it was like a really memorable line.
Yeah, I also, there's oh my God, there's so much fun stuff to talk about and to analyze. Like, even the scene directly after this, there's a scene where I think his name is Tsuneda, who is the, at the time of where the scene was placed, was kind of the number one runner in the club at the school that Komiya was at. And he kind of breaks down for like, a number of reasons. Like, I'm sure like he's jealous of the potential that Komiya is showing.
Yeah.
And there's probably a lot going on. But he kind of explodes at Komiya and it's like, hey, your fucking body is like begging you to stop running.
Yeah.
It can tell something's not right.
Yeah.
And I think there is like, although the motivations might be misplaced, where that might be coming from, I think it's such
He's
a
still
cool
spitting.
scene. He's right.
Yeah, he is right.
Because
Bars.
what is like through all this like aura farming and cool fucking one-liners is that like he's kind of right. Like even Zitzu, who doesn't realize it at the time when he's telling him, hey, you should run from your anxiety.
Yeah.
Is that Zitsu's also not got it figured out either.
Yeah.
No.
Zitzu at this point doesn't realize why he's even running, really. And he's so confidently saying these things because he's just the fastest runner.
Yeah.
And so we're listening to him in this story because he comes from a position of being the best, of being number one.
Yeah.
Which, in the world and of what we've built is that, that guy must be right because he's the best at what he does.
Yeah.
And he must have it figured out.
Yep.
When he might just be more mentally broken than the rest of us.
Yeah.
Totally.
But we're listening to him because we put people on a pedestal for the results they can achieve in certain things. And he's right about, Tsuneda is right about Komiya because, the one time that Komiya gets beaten in the race by the old guy, it's like he gets mind broken, like in the hentai, bro. His whole worldview is broken now because he realizes, what the fuck is it all for?
Yeah.
This old guy who's like having fun just beat me.
Yeah. Totally.
And so it's such an awesome like take on sometimes when we're working or when we're spending time with people, we're so willing to like throw ourselves into something to not have to think about that anxiety, to not have to think about
reality,
what is actually happening around us.
Yeah.
And even in this, it's like we don't see anything of their lives outside of racing.
No,
Yeah.
we don't.
Which I think is great. Because like if they had like a sad backstory going on or whatever, I think it would take away from it. Because I think it's meant to be like you don't know anything about these guys other than what they show through their like on track and track life.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful because of that. And there's a lot to take away from this. And I feel like a lot of people will probably end up watching this and feel a lot of the things, but maybe not know how to break them down and kind of internalize some of the messaging and kind of be a bit more introspective about it. Because that's the takeaway here, is to be introspective, is to look at what you're doing in your life and why are you doing it? Like, why are you really doing it? Are you really happy? Like, go deeper. Don't just feel like, yeah, I think I'm happy. Like, there's so much more layers, and we're so bad as humans kind of like really delving into how we feel about these things. And it's so cool seeing almost like 4 or 5 different perspectives and how that changes based on who is currently the guy running 10 seconds fastest. You know, like, it's so fun. Like, what a cool thing.
Yeah, and I think it speaks volumes that you've just seen 3 people quote 3 different lines that have hit us in 3 different ways. There will be a line in there that hits you and makes you think, because there'll be a line that makes you think, oh shit, I kind of relate to this, or I never thought about it like that, because that's just how dense this movie is in terms of how many like life-changing or life-reflecting lessons and viewpoints there are in this one short film. Which just, it's so fucking powerful.
And also, can we talk about the fucking animation?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Oh my god. Like, so this anime does rotoscoping in a way that is probably the best I've seen in anime.
By far. It's not even
by
close.
far.
This
Like,
is
there
like
are
the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Some of the most accurate running animation you'll ever see that actually looks amazing and realistic, which is what you want for a show that's this grounded in reality. And that prolonged shot of that one race in the rain is insane. I've never seen anime do that before. Because
that was the shot before the midpoint turn, where before we jump 10 years ahead. But it was just the perfect shot.
So good.
There is a shot that lasts for about 1 minute and 40 seconds. I think I timed it out. Something around there. It's a very, very long shot, and it is the start, shows you the entire beginning and build up of what is the culmination at that point of like the biggest race at that point that we've seen, where both of the 2 main characters get to race it out. And it just holds on this shot, and the music builds, and it just lets you live in the moment before the race, because the race doesn't last. The race barely lasts like anything compared to the build-up. It's 10 seconds. That's
10
it.
seconds,
right? But it lets you build. It lets the audience feel that anticipation before this monumentally big race. And then after the shot's over, it goes to silence, and it's only like sound effects and heavy breathing. And that's what you hear.
It's basically like, it's just 30 seconds of just like the rain getting stronger and stronger and stronger until it just turns into white noise. And then it just cuts, and it's this beautiful moment, because it's the moment when you really see Togashi and everything that he has kind of built his life around when it comes to track and field, and like, you know, what he thought was his purpose in all of this, and what his whole purpose in just life is in general, and what he, you know, believes in, just snap at that moment.
I mean, he hadn't lost before this. This is the first time he's ever lost.
And he lost to Komiya as well, of all people, you know. So that was the turning point, where, I guess, in a sense, where reality actually sets in for Togashi, and he discovers for the first time the anxiety and the true scariness that is the reality of his life. And you know, as he becomes an adult, he's still trying to figure that out. And I think that's what I like about Togashi, is that he really is a fantastic representation of a person who is just in a constant journey to figure out what their purpose in life is, and why they do what they want to do, and what they want to achieve, and what they want to strive for, which I think a lot of people can relate to. You know, it's like, there's a lot of people out there that think they know what they want to be, or think they know what they want to believe in, and then something or some element in their life makes them maybe pivot a 180, or makes them think otherwise, or maybe makes them self-doubt. But at the end of the day, and at the end of this movie, it's kind of insinuated that maybe Togashi hasn't exactly figured out the answer to his life, but he's gotten one step closer. You know, which is how I interpret the ending of the movie.
I think Togashi was probably like the right choice to be the main character, because I think a lot of people, pretty much everyone, can relate to that feeling of feeling like you're a superhero when you're a kid at a certain thing. And then just that moment where you get humbled when you reach adulthood or you enter a bigger high school or something like that. You're raised
into the real world.
Yeah, into the real world. You're raised to think that life is going to be easy, that you figured stuff out, and then everyone reaches that point when you realize, oh, this shit is hard.
Yeah.
Because even in the movie, we see everyone, he gets the fucking press tour with the current record holder.
Yeah.
Like everyone's telling him he's the best.
He's the GOAT.
So, it's a hard thing to have to grow up with that and then realizing you're not.
Yeah. Totally.
Especially when, you go, even for him, he goes up until he's like 18 before he suffers a defeat.
Yeah.
And then it takes him 10 years to get over it.
Yeah.
And then he only gets over it because he only thinks he has 3 races left.
Yeah.
Because he thinks he medically won't be able to. It takes him literally having to like force retirement for him to finally get over the fact that he can lose.
Yeah.
Like he can't get over that for the entire show.
Yeah. And I just thought when it ended, and I thought it was such a perfect ending where we didn't get to see who won. After all this build up about who the fastest person can be, about records, about shattering your preconceived reality, we don't see who won because it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It never was about winning or losing. It was always about why and what the drives are. You know, and I thought it was such a succinct ending to this film that encapsulates all of the themes that it was trying to portray in it.
We could literally talk about this for hours.
we could.
Music, godlike, as always.
I would actually say what stood out to me in a lot of this wasn't actually the music, it was the lack of it in a lot of
It
scenes.
plays with silence a lot.
It does.
Well, the sound, the Foley was like phenomenal.
Yeah.
All the sounds of everything sounded so good.
Yeah. But I also feel like what made some of these lines really like stick in was there's a lot of times when the silence holds for an almost uncomfortable period of time.
Yeah.
Where a character will say something and you see they have this kind of like they're thinking or they have this realization and they won't say anything. They will just stand there. And it gives you that breathing room to just also feel what the character is feeling as well.
Yeah, the movie takes its time because it understands that the messages that it's trying to convey to the audience takes time to process, I think.
Yeah. It's also a pretty short movie, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
In this
it
landscape,
is.
that's short.
Yeah.
It used to be normal length. Yeah. It's a very good, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's phenomenally paced. There are a lot of characters to kind of keep track of.
Yeah.
But it never feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's all just meticulously done, and the time skips are never jarring. Like it always feels like it makes complete sense
At the perfect time as well.
Yeah. You never feel like you're lingering too much on an era. There's like 3 different eras that they're on. It's just phenomenal. Like really, really amazing stuff. And it's just so cool.
Yeah.
And like what a cool depiction of just being a human being.
Yeah.
And dealing with like, your reason for life, mental wellness, all this shit, man. Like it's all here.
Everyone is flawed in different aspects. And I think this movie does such a good job of like exploring all of that and characters trying to figure all of that out.
Yeah, I also just thought that they chose just the perfect sport for this.
Yeah.
The concept of 100 meters, which is your entire life being condensed down to 10 seconds. That's like,
and it's so primal as well.
Yeah,
the act of running is so primal.
Yeah, there's just something fucking romantic about that idea. You know, like you sacrifice your entire life for just 10
seconds,
10 short seconds.
Yeah,
I'm like,
this is the most serious we've ever been on Anime Club, so that tells you something about this movie.
I mean, I could praise this for days.
Yeah.
And last thing I want to end on is, damn, what is the mangaka gonna do next?
Yeah, I mean they've
back to back of this hard.
It is also kind of like frustrating. I don't really care about this kind of stuff in general normally, but it's so annoying that like why can we never get Japanese movies like nominated in like Oscars and stuff for awards?
Yeah.
This fucking needs awards, bro.
Yeah.
This is so fucking good. I wish more people would watch this, but they won't just because it's Japanese and they have to watch subtitles. But there's a dub too, but it's just like so frustrating because both of these shows are amazing and it's awesome seeing the aspect of character writing and just the absolute understanding of human emotions that this author has. I forgot the name. Uoto.
Yeah.
Because like even in Chi, you can see them kind of take these same ways of handling characters, but putting them towards something else, which is the goal of just human progression.
Yeah.
And what that looks like when different types of people are willing to sacrifice for the goal of progress and understanding, which can be kind of a nebulous kind of thing at times that, is a thankless job to advance human understanding, but we're all better for it. And it's such a cool thing to see. And I mean, if anything, this is probably like the most exciting author right now to watch. I feel like
I feel like top 2 right now is like anything that Uta makes and Tatsuki Fujimoto as well. We are living in an era of exciting ass mangaka coming out.
Totally.
You look back in the period where you imagine what it would be like living through the period where you get to see what Naoki Urasawa makes next. That's how I feel reading these works.
Totally.
I'm like, damn, this is just goated after goated stuff, man.
They can't go back to back to back.
What the fuck?
Wait, they can.
Wait, you made Monster, then 20th Century Boys, then Pluto,
then Billy Bat?
Billy Bat. What the? Oh my lord.
He don't miss.
It's just awesome to see that there's still so many talented authors, like still kind of, making amazing manga and
what's
stories.
to say there's like so many mangaka out there that are just hiding in the rough, and just need to be dug up either by an anime adaptation or whatever it might be.
This feels like a must watch. Everyone's got to watch 100 Meters. It's an hour and a half of your day. Go and watch it. It is fucking life changing.
If Orb wasn't already a must watch, like 100 Meters is also a must watch. Anything that I think this author is responsible for, I think is a must watch for anyone.
You're hitting 2 out of 2 bangers like that. It's kind of crazy.
It's crazy.
Right out of the gate. What the hell are they going to make next?
I know, right? How did they top this?
Have they announced what they're working on next? Or
I'm not sure.
Because I think she ended quite a while ago, from my understanding. Like the manga.
The manga started in 2020. Can we see when she ended?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the
the manga? When did the manga end? Because it only has like 8 volumes? Yeah. It's only got 8 volumes.
Oh, yeah. April
2022. So they haven't done anything since in about 4 years.
They're cooking.
They're cooking.
I believe.
You know it's good when the genres is award winning. Facts.
I mean, even if they never made another one, I'd still be very happy. So I hope I hope they're working on something because they have a lot to say, and I think they're a fantastic
imagine
writer.
the flex of having 2 anime adaptations within a year, and they both actually be runner for like anime of the year contenders.
Yeah, crazy.
That's an insane body of work.
Yeah, legit.